Tuperas y Tuperas here on Dupe by the River. We got a really fun episode for you today. We got a special guest for you. We're going to talk about the Philadelphia Union as they are off now in Orlando trying to bring back home a MLS Cup. And we're also going to talk about the groups down in Orlando, give you some predictions with your lovely colleagues here at Philly Sports Network. Let's get this started, guys. And done! That is right. Welcome, everyone, to Dupe by the River, the Philadelphia Union podcast brought to you by Philly Sports Network. Ladies and gentlemen, please don't forget to rate this podcast and also subscribe to the podcast. We could really use your help, and we would love for you guys to help us out by rating and subscribing to it as well. Listen, this is semi of a little reunion here, and we have a really special guest. So I'm really excited. I'm juiced up. We got MLS coming back. I got a good group of guys here with me doing this podcast. But before we get started in the action today, let me introduce you to some of the guys I have here today to break down this podcast. All right, first up, let's talk about my man, Mr. Matt McClain, back at it today. Matt, what's going on, man? I love the camo hat. You got the patriotism going on a little bit there. What's going on? What's new, man?
Man, I'm just excited to get this weekend going. You know, I don't have work tomorrow, so it's been a busy week. I'm ready to talk some soccer. And I love the hat. Yeah, thanks for mentioning
it. So, guys, we actually shotgun beers before. No, I'm kidding, guys. I'm totally kidding, guys. We will wait till after the podcast, but so good to see Matt on here today. Next guy on here, I'm so excited to have him back. Our actual Philly voice is here, Mr. Jeff Green, back from his hiatus. Jeff, first off, I'm so happy to have you back on. Welcome back. What's going on, Jeff?
Thanks, John. I mean, it's great to be back. Life got in the way of some things, but, I had to take care of some business. There's still business being taken care of, but I've got enough of a buffer now to get back and join you guys and hopefully start writing some articles again soon.
Right. Yeah, man.
So yeah, I'm super excited. I missed you guys a lot.
Absolutely. Yeah, we missed you here. Obviously, duty calls, we completely understand there, but we're happy to have you back. Let's have some fun today, Jeff. Let's get back to it, man. Let's do it.
I'm down for that.
Let's do it. All right, last but not least, I got our very special guest here. If you have been part of the Philadelphia Union Hour Zoom chat on Zoom chat, obviously, my man here has been really on the forefront of this great group chat that has been started. Mr. Jared Nisdog, as we call you on Twitter. Jared, what's going on, man? Thank you so much for hopping on Dupe by the River. It means the world to me. We actually tried this before. Unfortunately, that podcast got lost in translation. But I'm glad you were on here today. Welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. It's my second time in one day seeing my favorite parcero.
That is right. We will get to that in 1 second. But Jared, first off, before we get into it, you've done some great stuff with our Union group there. And, kind of just give us like the brief, how that got started for everyone out there.
Yeah, it started early March or mid-March, I should say, with me just putting out a tweet, seeing if some people wanted to play Jackbox, which is a game that you play either on console or PC. Just figured everyone needed to laugh, so that's what we started with. And then Heather started doing Zoom calls, and that's basically how it started. Just a couple of people. It was a group of 6 of us on the first when we played Jackbox on Discord, and now it's exploded. It's calmed down a little bit since things have opened back up. But we've had players on. We've had soccer icons, at least in America. We've had comedians. It's been a blast. But yeah, and we actually have some stuff coming in the future. I'm working on some stuff that maybe coming into fruition, so stay tuned for more details coming up.
Yes, indeed. You guys can find them at Our Union. Definitely check them out. Also, Jared, you guys got that wonderful fundraiser going on with the Icarus jerseys. What's going on with that? We talked about it here on the podcast. What you did with that was absolutely fantastic. Not only the benefit of it, but those jerseys are freaking sick, man. I love it.
Yeah, Icarus and Paul Catrino.
Shout out both of them.
Yeah, Paul did a great job with helping me out with my idea, and Icarus just knocked it out of the park. But yeah, so I just want to have a way to commemorate the time we spent together and a way to recognize people outside of just looking at a computer screen. But yeah, and so like we decided to do a donation to the Philly bail bond, and I was able to sell 63 jerseys. And that meant that we were able to donate $685.59 to the Philly bail bond, which in my mind was like out of this world. Like I think it's crazy. Dude. So like shout outs to you guys. Like that, like
that's amazing.
I could not believe that how you guys jumped on that like crazy. It was amazing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It definitely, again, it was such a great cause, and just seeing like where the Our Union started. I remember Heather like begging people to like come on, and like I would hop on like when I was cooking just to say hi to everyone, because during this time like I miss everyone down in Chester, like I miss that atmosphere, so it was really cool to see. But you guys have been killing it. Definitely keep it up, and hopefully we can somehow like still keep it going, like even when things get normal, because it was definitely really cool to be a part of. So good job there. Well, Jared, like you said, it's the second time I get to see you today. So earlier today, we got to say goodbye to our blue and gold as they went off to Orlando. They're actually in Orlando now. It was really cool. It was, what would you say, like maybe 40, 50 fans there today, Jared?
Yeah.
Somewhere around that?
Probably somewhere around there. Maybe like 60. It wasn't like a super big crowd, but like it was good. It was good for 12:30 on a Thursday,
right.
When a lot of people are still working. So it was a pretty decent turnout. Like no one was really chanting outside of Matt, myself, you, and maybe Jess, but like it was still cool. We had a lot of smoke blowing around.
I think, Jared, I think what it was is people are like kind of like out of it, because like we've been in quarantine and we haven't been in like an actual soccer game for over a year now. So like people are still like, wait, we chant. We chant at soccer events. So I think people were still trying to get into it, but it was really cool. Fang was wearing a mask. That was really cool to see. Fang is practicing his proper mask wearing, which was awesome. But yeah, no, I mean, seeing some of the players, their rides is pretty cool too. Like you get to see them and whipping in their rides there. Shout out to Allie with the Tesla, man. Yo, Allie was whipping that Tesla in there. It was really cool to see. Yeah. Oh, dude, I called my man. That's my man's right there. So I called him there. But it was definitely cool to see. I'm glad they got there safe. And Philadelphia Union, bring home the cup. Huh? How about that? All right. Yeah, we could use some positivity here in Philadelphia. But speaking of the MLS Bezback tournament, I figured today on this podcast we would just keep it fun and simple. Let's talk about these groups here, and let's give our predictions here, because this tournament's really interesting, guys. 6 groups. Every group has 4 teams except for our group. Group A has 6 teams, which makes it even more intriguing. So I figured we'll start off with Group F. How we'll do it is I will say the last place team, and you guys let me know if you agree or if you feel there's a different team that should finish there, and then we'll do 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st place, so on and so forth. Ready, guys?
Let's do it.
Yep.
All right. So in Group F, well, first off, the teams we have: San Jose Earthquakes, Seattle Sounders, FC Dallas, Vancouver Whitecaps, and in last place, guys. Unfortunately, I'm so sorry for everyone out in Vancouver. I think the Whitecaps are going to finish in last place there.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, honestly.
Yeah,
I think you're right.
Be a shock.
You got a shock there, Jeff?
No, I said that would not be a shock. I mean, I've got Seattle and Dallas coming out of there.
Okay. So with Vancouver, it's just really like they're still in like rebuild mode. I don't think Marcos Dos Santos has the full team that he wants, and I just don't see any way possible how they can, even finish in 3rd place here. So that's who I have finishing in 4th. In 3rd place, this is tough for me to say. I didn't have this team in 3rd place up until today, but there was some news that came out that kind of changed my perspective on Group F. And I unfortunately have FC Dallas in 3rd place in Group F. Now, the reason why is, I don't know if anyone's heard, but there has been a report that FC Dallas has around 9 players that tested positive for the coronavirus. So that kind of changes everything. You don't know which players it is. And what if it is like, important players like Paxton Pomacall and Jesus Ferreira? That's going to be a really big killer, in my opinion, for FC Dallas. So without the uncertainty, not knowing who it is that contracted the coronavirus, for right now, I'm putting FC Dallas in 3rd place.
I see what you're saying, but I think it's going to be more of like a rallying cry for them, where they just band together. They're going to be so shorthanded, and they'll just. I mean, it's a really good team to begin with. Obviously, if all those guys you mentioned aren't playing, they're going to be in trouble. But they're pretty solid top to bottom. So I think they have enough to rally and get out of that group.
I also wouldn't be surprised if they just pull an Orlando Pride and just drop out of the tournament.
That's possible too.
Yeah,
that'd be crazy. You imagine?
I know that's on the extreme side of it, but like I feel like because this tournament is huge for the league. Like there's really no other sports going on, at least in the U.S. So like I wouldn't be surprised if Dallas is just like listen, we'll take the L for the league and like we'll just pull out and keep everybody safe.
I think you might be onto something there, Jared, because it's such a safety concern. You can wear your mask and you can isolate, but eventually it's going to spread, right? So maybe just cut them out right now and save the tournament for the long haul. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'd hate to see it because especially because we have our boy Fafa out there. I'd love to see him do well, but I don't think it would be something that the MLS would impose on them. It would be like FC Dallas being like, you know what, like we're just gonna do this for everybody else for the good of the tournament.
Yeah, I think if MLS was imposing something, they already would have handed down rules. Like if you've got 5 or more players, infected, no go. But yeah. I mean, it's a tough situation in that I think Tuesday night we're just going to be watching the ticker. Like, is this still going to happen Wednesday? I hate to be a bummer on things, but just the way things are going, especially it's in Florida. It's not like they're playing in Oregon where 10 people have died of COVID or whatever the ridiculous number is. We're talking a hotspot, which makes it really difficult. But I mean, I'm really hoping for it because we really need this.
Yeah. No, I mean, you're absolutely right. We definitely need this, but I mean, obviously, players' safety is the top priority here, and for the league, without games being played, there's so much money going to be lost, especially without fans in stadiums. They're losing so much money, so it's a weird dynamic. But you have to put the player safety at top priority. So it'll definitely be weird. But yeah, for right now, until I see otherwise, I think FC Dallas is going to finish in 3rd place there. In 2nd place, in that case, I would see the San Jose Earthquakes finishing there. I originally had them in 3rd, but with what's going on, I see them finishing in 2nd there. I just feel as if they didn't do enough in the offseason, my honest opinion, for Matisse Almeida to continue building a championship caliber team like he's had at Chivas and at River Plate. And so I'm not feeling too hot about the San Jose Earthquakes, but I think that with the group that they're in right now, they'll be good enough for 2nd place.
I also agree there. I mean, I think Seattle's just the team to beat. So they got one locked up, and then I'm torn between Dallas and Vancouver just because Jeff might have a point. Say these guys pass isolation, maybe they miss a game and they come back, and they don't lose a lot of points. They could really be going, just to try and make a point and say we're gonna do something here, even though we've got off on the wrong foot. But I think that's a safe bet with 2nd, 3rd.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So you guys have obviously Seattle at 1st. Somewhat. So it seems like some of you guys have San Jose 2nd. Some of you guys have FC Dallas 2nd. Am I right?
I would put San Jose 2nd. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, good stuff. So that's to me, honestly, Group F, if I'm being honest, is probably one of the weaker groups, but we shall see what happens. It could wind up being the most exciting. We will see. Let's move on to Group E, where there's a lot of intrigue for me simply because you have 2 solid rivalries. You have one of the newer rivalries, the Hell is Real rivalry with Cincinnati and Columbus. And then you also have the Red Bull and Atlanta United, who don't have a real derby name per se, but every time those 2 teams link up, it's like a bloodbath. There's so much hate between both sides, and they give you exciting games. So in Group E, in dead last place, I mean, I don't think there's much of a surprise here. I'd see FC Cincinnati finishing there. Just a lot of new pieces with FC Cincinnati. Seems like they are trying to build a Dutch-American team. So, yeah, I think that with all the new pieces, not enough time to prepare, it doesn't equal a positive result. So I see FC Cincinnati finishing in last.
I agree. I mean, a new coach this late in preparation, I don't really see it being positive for them.
Plus a CDM who likes to point.
Yeah, that's a trait of his.
I love you, Harris, but you gotta put in more work.
Incredible passer, but yeah.
They are really high on him in Cincinnati. It's crazy. Like, listen, he's a good player, but I mean, we've talked about his defensive woes here on the show. But damn, yeah. Hopefully, Harris can become Andre Pirlo for a couple weeks for Cincinnati's sake.
All right, certainly veteran presence. I mean, in the locker room for sure. But
hell yeah, absolutely.
He does point a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Great locker room presence there. In third place, guys, is the energy drink team from North Jersey, in my honest opinion. Going through a transition time there, got some new players, got rid of some players. So I think that they are the third best team in this group here.
I was kind of torn between the Dead Bulls and the Crew. My gut says to put the Dead Bulls in third just because I hate them. But they do have a decent amount of turnover. So I do think they'll be one of the third place teams that advances though.
Okay, I can see that. But about you, Jeff, do you see the Red Bulls there, or what's?
I had the same thing as Jared. I had Atlanta winning the group, and then I had Columbus and the Red Bulls. I guess either tie with Columbus or you just know they're going to advance. Like whatever they can do to piss us off, there's no way they're not going to get past this first round.
What about you, Matt?
I don't see New York advancing. I'll just say that's my bold prediction. I think there was a lot of turnover, but with that, I think there comes some lack of chemistry. And sure, I could be completely wrong, and I'll be the first to admit it, but I see them in third and just not advancing.
I mean, I'd love for them to just go home. That's fine by me.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you guys. I agree. Yeah, I don't know if they make it to the next round. I think there's some better teams, in my honest opinion, and this group is tougher than some may think. But yeah, so the reason why I think they're going to be in third is because my second place team was one of my dark horses for MLS Cup this season. That's the Columbus Crew. I think that last year they got hit by the injury bug. Obviously, international call-ups affected their play as well. But Caleb Porter in his second season, honestly, the only real position that changed is, the 10, which I think they actually upgraded with. And then obviously they lost Will Trapp. But still, I think this is a strong team. Yazzie Zardes knows how to put the ball in the net, only when the MLS apparently. But I think that they're still one of my dark horses, honestly.
I can back that. I can see that happening. I think that's a team with a lot to prove, especially Zardes. If you have a guy up top leading it and he's doubted by a lot of people in his own country, this is a perfect opportunity to kind of change the script. So I would kind of pick that team as a dark horse, like you said, and then even that player Zardes as somebody to kind of own the spotlight, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Should be interesting to see with the Columbus Crew. Now, in first place, I think it's a no-brainer, guys. The Atlanta United. They actually made some news. They've been really making news last week. They signed Jurgen Damm from Liga MX Tigres. In his announcement video was interesting. It looked like a TikTok essentially,
yeah.
And he had the Atlanta United jersey on. But Atlanta being Atlanta, getting some of the best players in Latino America that no one has ever heard of, but they turn out to be the best players in the league essentially. And then they're also linked heavily to a young, promising forward from Paraguay, Olimpia in Paraguay, Eric Lopez. From what I'm hearing, he's a kid with a lot of potential, and Atlanta's trying to take advantage of that while he's still young. So Atlanta is only going to get better in this tournament. Josef Martinez, they really benefited from the shutdown. Josef Martinez has plenty of time to recover. He should be back at some point in this tournament. But, I think for Atlanta, this is a big test for Ezequiel Barco and for Pity Martinez. They got to show up. They got to step up here so that they can hold the load because they're getting paid pretty handsomely, both those players. So it should be interesting to see what Atlanta can do in this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they just ran through their group, but also at the same time, I definitely would not be surprised if they struggled without Martinez, Josef. I don't know. We don't really know what Atlanta United is without him. So it'd be very interesting.
Yeah.
I was kind of excited to see what was going to happen with them during the season. To have a whole year without him, selfishly, obviously. But yeah, I mean, obviously we wish him a speedy recovery, but I wouldn't mind seeing Atlanta lose a couple of games here and there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Jared, when Joseph went down, I mean, we Union fans were all rejoicing because the Eastern Conference was up for grabs then, and we looked good. Obviously, the LAFC game, but yeah. So we'll see when Joseph comes back, but Atlanta really haven't lived life without Josef Martinez, which is crazy to think.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Let's move on to Group D. Now, to me, guys, this is the group of death. This is probably the group of death. There's 4 good teams that you could probably make a case on why they should be going into the next round. But in last place, this is really hard for me, but I have the Houston Dynamo finishing there. I love Tab Ramos as the manager there. I think he's going to help some young players that they have there develop into some good players. There's a lot of attackers on the team. They have a surplus of attackers down in Houston. I just think that new manager, there's some better teams, in my honest opinion, in their group. That's why I have them in last place.
I'm still up in the air how I want to put these teams in because there's been talks about Carlos Vela opting out. There's been talks about just Santos opting out. And I think if both those players, now obviously both teams have players beyond them, but those are their 2 main players for their respective teams. So I would not be overly surprised if this group does not pan out to be the group of death that we would expect it to be, or if we see LAFC or the Galaxy not achieve their potential.
No, you definitely have a great point there. We don't know. I'm going off of guess on paper, but yeah, I mean, all the things we talked about so far, FC Dallas, pulling out of the tournament, LAFC not having Vela, LA Galaxy not having Dos Santos. These are things that could definitely affect the tournament and what the outcome is going to be. But it should be interesting. But so as of right now, who would you say the last place team?
If both players attend.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
If both if everyone's full strength, I'd probably put the Dynamo in last, probably, and then I guess it doesn't really matter what place, because I could see any of the other 3 teams winning the group, but I definitely think that all 3 of the remaining teams will advance to the knockout stage.
As of this morning, it really sounds like Vela is just opting out.
Oh.
But, I mean, we'll see. Because everything changes day to day, like Jeff said in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would definitely be crazy.
If Vela doesn't go, I would not be surprised if they finish last.
Sure.
It's true. I mean, it's such a shock. You just lose your top player like that, and then you got to go down in Orlando in an unprecedented tournament and figure it out. But they are pros. So we could see, who knows.
Yeah, I mean, I think if Vela stays or doesn't stay, I still see them advancing. And I actually have Houston as my second team.
There you go, Jeff.
And you know what? I'm being kind of greedy because there are 2 players in the league outside of the Union that I absolutely love to watch, and Albert Elise is one of them, and I just want to see him play.
He needs to have a step up tournament, in my opinion.
He does.
At one point, he was supposed to be the next guy to go over to England. Kind of fell off, and now there's a logjam up top with the forwards, all the 3 forward positions. So, Yeah, I would love to see him step up and get back to the form that we know. Yeah, I want to see him do the Black Panther celebration again. It's going to be interesting to see. I think he can definitely be a help for Houston. But if all is, if everything on paper is as it stands, we're going to get the players that we all know are going to be down there. I think that Houston finished last. Obviously, things change. Standings will change as well. In third place, guys, personally, I have the Portland Timbers finishing there. Obviously, as we all know, they've been a consistently good team over the last couple of years. And then also adding Yaroslav Nizgoda. Guys, we know a little thing or two about Polish strikers here in Philadelphia. He's the third DP that they signed right before the season. He's still 25 years old, so he could be like that next, star player in this league. We will see. He wasn't able to play in the beginning of the year, so he's going to have to get in the groove of things. But they also have the Char brothers. My Colombian guys there, and obviously Blanco and Valeri, veteran guys, been there and have done that. So it should be interesting to see. But if things stay intact, I think that Portland would finish in third.
This is just a tough one to call. I mean, they're just all tough. I think even Houston's a tough team. So it's not, no shame in losing to a few of these teams in just 3 matches.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So who do we have in third place, guys?
I have Galaxy and Portland fourth.
Okay. What about you, Matt? Who do you got in third?
LAFC, and then I guess Portland and the Galaxy top 2. But I do think, like Jared said, all those teams, those 3 will advance from that group.
Okay. And about you, Jared? Who you got in third?
I think the Galaxy in third. It's so tough, like especially like if you're just going like straight based off just like normal play, but like is it so like completely different than anything ever. So it's so hard, but like I'm sticking with what I said. I'm not changing.
It's all right. It's all good, man. In second place, I have the LA Galaxy going there. Obviously, when you talk about the Galaxy these days, you cannot not bring up El Chicharito, and I think there's a lot of pressure put on him. Obviously, granted, he's a star player; they're paying him BP money. But I think that I think their success will have a part of what Chicharito does. Again, we'll see if Dos Santos is able to play. He's really the engine in that midfield. But yeah, so I think that right now, the Galaxy will finish in second place.
I'm excited to see Chicharito play, just to see how he gels with his teammates, I can remember watching a lot of highlights of him over at Man U and then elsewhere where if things aren't going his way, it kind of shows it with body language. So we'll see how he kind of gels.
I think that he fits better for this Guillermo Barrios Schelotto team better than Zlatan, honestly.
Zlatan's like an enigma, like a unicorn,
He just needs the ball at all times. Give ball to Zlatan, It's like you like with Guillermo's system, it's about the team, right? So like Zlatan, you can't just cater to him. So it's gonna be exciting. I'm excited to see what the Galaxy can do in this tournament here.
I mean, sorry, John. If you look at Zlatan, like he never really had to or even tried to mesh with anybody ever, just because he's, number one, it's his attitude. Number two, he's so fucking awesome.
Yeah,
and it's just. He doesn't give a shit. It's just, meshing. I don't think he even knows how to spell that. Like, just, I'm going to go out. I'm going to do my stuff. And I don't care if my teammates like me or you like me. I'm Zlatan, and that's the end of the story. There's my Zlatan rant.
I mean, you're not wrong there. So, yeah, we'll see what the Galaxy do there. But I think that a lot of Galaxy fans are happy that they have Chicharito and they don't have Zlatan anymore. All right, in first place, obviously, LAFC. Again, we will see what happens with Vela. But I think Bob Bradley is still a good manager. And they have some solid pieces over there, so it should be interesting. All right, Group C. I'll just round out the teams that will finish there. So in last place, I think we'll have Colorado. In third place, I think Minnesota will finish there. In second, RSL, and then in first, I have SKC. I do think that the top three teams will move on to the next round in this group here. Matt, what do you think will happen in this group here?
I think Colorado's a safe bet for last. Although I'd like to see how the back line does, because we've got Rosenberry and Trusty out there.
Yeah, well, you Flair.
But yeah, I'll say Colorado's last. I agree with you there.
Okay. What about you, Jared?
Yeah, I got SKC and Minnesota top in the group. I don't want to say Colorado in last just because Keegan's my boy. But I just haven't seen a lot from that team. And I also don't know enough about RSL to be like, yeah, you're not just gonna do well. Those two are a toss up, and it's also for the same reason I'm not saying whether SKC or Minnesota are finishing 1-2. It's just I just don't know. I'm confident enough in those two teams' quality to finish 1-2. But I don't to me they're toss up.
What about you, Jeff?
I've got Colorado last, and
no love for Colorado.
I've got Minnesota winning group.
Okay.
RSL, I'm not really sure. SKC, that's my the second one I'll use as far as just being selfish, because that's my other favorite player, and that's Johnny Russell. I want him to go on, and I want to see him just run over the field. He's like a very talented Danny Cruz. It's like what Danny Cruz could have been, should have been, just running into everything head first, but an actual really good player. So, yeah, I've got Minnesota, SKC, RSL, and then Colorado.
Danny Cruz, that was a great throwback, man.
Hey, I was at a match once where he dove head first. He had no business. We don't even know what he was going at. We were halfway up the stands, and we heard his head connect with someone else's head, and both guys were out for about 10 minutes. I think it was against Seattle, maybe.
Sounds like peak Cruz right there. Peak.
Oh my God,
Danny Cruz.
It was
first ever MLS player to make an appearance on MTV. So good fun fact for you guys.
On what?
On MTV.
Oh, really?
So yeah, so maybe when I was middle school, I was really into MTV, every teenager around that time, right? And there was a show I think called Made. I think that's what it was called, and it's helping kids reach who have dreams that they just don't want to reach or haven't reached yet. And this one kid wanted to be a professional soccer player, and they got Danny Cruz to teach him how to be a soccer player. It was
watch that show all the time. I don't remember that one.
Yeah.
Nice.
He was on that one. That was interesting, and I was surprised he came to Philly. And then I met him once upon a time. I was a manager of Jersey Mike's Subs. Shouts out to anyone who's ever had a sub from Jersey Mike's. But he came into Jersey Mike's, and I recognized. I was like, "Are you Danny Cruz?" He's like, "Yeah. How do you know me?" It's so funny. A lot of uni players, especially the ones that are that aren't Alejandro Bedoya, and you recognize them, they're shocked. They're like, "Wait, you know me?" Yes, I love the uni. So those are my fun Danny Cruz. But look, when we look at this group, guys, it's interesting. Obviously, you got the Rocky Mountain rivalry there, but Minnesota, I think they made some huge strides last season, and I think that they're going to take that next step. RSL, Freddie Juarez seems to be, keeping the pace that Pecky had RSL going. They're like a pesky team. You write them off, but they just somehow find their way to win. And then SKC, I think that finally they have their number 9. Alin Pulido, I think he's going to be great in this league, and I think that he's going to elevate SKC to the level that they need to get to. So that's where I have this group at. Let's move on to Group B, guys. Another interesting group here, Eastern Conference teams here. In last place, I think we will see the New England Revolution. In third, I have DC United. In second, Montreal. And in first, I got TFC. Jeff, what do you think's going to happen in this group here?
I've got Toronto and Montreal finishing at the top, and then DC and New England. So I'm pretty much with you.
What about you, Jared?
So as much as I wanted to disrespect DC and say 0-3, like that's it, you're done. Because let's be honest, they looked like hot garbage. the 2 games they played was just straight garbage. I do think they'll finish third, so I don't think they'll finish last. I do have New England Revolution, but I will say this is the only one I'll make a prediction on. DC United are going 1-2. They'll 1-2. They'll win. They'll draw 1 and lose 2.
Oh, I like it.
Those 2 teams, New England and DC, is just not look good. But I do have TFC finishing top as well.
Yeah, I have Toronto and Montreal, but I have Montreal in first just because I think, for whatever reasons, Thierry Henry is going to figure out a way to get his players going in this weird tournament fashion. So we'll see. And I just want to.
I wouldn't be surprised at all with that. I have them basically tied with Toronto at the top.
And he's just the coach I want to see more of, like associated with MLS. So more screen time for Thierry Henry for me.
Thierry Henry. So here's my first question with this group. So do you think that New England is going to officially retire Bruce Arena? Like he's after this job, he's going to be like done with soccer as coaching at least.
I feel like he'll lurk around somewhere.
He'll go to USL.
USL.
I mean, like, because the thing is like, I think he's a good manager. Obviously, you know his history speaks for himself. But I don't think that New England have the team, the right team for him at least. So that's why I see them, especially in this type of tournament. That's why I see them finishing in last. DC, I do like some pieces that they have. I think Julian Gress is going to come in motivated. So is Ole Kamara. And I like the kid Flores that they got from Peru too. But again, too many new pieces. This is a weird time. So I don't see them, doing much here. Montreal, like Matt said, I think that Thierry Henry has a lot to prove. The way it ended in Monaco was, it kind of hurt his reputation a little bit. Like what they were saying in Europe about Terry was heartbreaking a little bit. So I feel that him coming here to the MLS, it'll allow him to, show that he can actually manage. He can manage a team, and hopefully he can actually win there. And then obviously Toronto, they've been the past couple of years has been like their decade. So I think they can make an interesting one there. All right. Well, guys, that leads our group A. The crazy-ass group. 6 freaking teams, guys. 6 teams. My God. So, all right. Let's I'll allow you guys to go first on this one. Matt, do you want to start here? Go from 6 to 1?
Wow, put me on the spot. Sure, let's do it. I have Nashville 6. I don't have any specific reason. I wish I did, but that just seems fitting for me. In 5th, I'll go Orlando. I just don't. I don't see them improving. I've seen too many games of them in the past few years where they just don't really play together convincingly for me. 4th, it's tough. I think this is the group of death because there's 6 and then there's also 4 really good teams, 4, I'll say NYC. They don't make it.
Oh, wow. Well, the 4th seed can still make it through, apparently.
Yeah, but they won't.
Yeah,
okay.
They won't.
I'm kind of winging it here. I'll say Miami at 3, and Chicago at 2, and then we'll just go Union 1 because I'm kind of a homer.
Kind of a homer. I love that. What about you, Jared? What do you see in this crazy group?
It's so tough. I'm with Matt. I think Nashville will finish last just because no one really knows what they have. I don't think they even know what they have. They're still figuring this whole thing out. I do think we will beat them. I'm nervous because there's just so much unknown with them. That's the only one that I'm confident in. From there on out, it's tricky. I also want to agree that Orlando is going to finish that low just because like they haven't shown like that much recently, but they've also just had these random just like spurts where they're like decent. So like I could see them just like, and technically like every single home game is a home game for them. So like they're used to the weather, like no matter what hour it is. So like I could see them doing well with that. Man, I think Chicago finishes 4th. Miami 2nd, Miami 3rd, us 2nd, and NYCFC 1st. I think we get off to a slow start. I think we have a 2-2 draw with City, and then have a comfortable win over Nashville and a gutsy win over Miami.
Okay, interesting. I like it. What about you, Jeff? Jeff's gonna have something crazy. I know it. I see it. I see it in his eyes.
Well, I do have a reason though. I mean, I have Nashville last. 5th. It's just going to show that they need to play in their little league field, and it's not going to work down there as a NYCFC.
Okay.
And I'll just love to see that. Then I've got Chicago. Miami I've gotten 3rd, and I think Miami is going to kind of be maybe the surprise team, maybe going a little further than we think. And like Jared was saying, or Orlando with the weather down there, Miami's got the same advantage. I have Orlando in 2nd. I think it's like the home team. They're just going to put it together, and I've got the Union number 1.
That's right, Jeff.
But the interesting thing will be is if this bracket doesn't get a 3rd team.
Oh God.
That would shock me. I mean, there would have to be a ridiculous amount of draws for that to happen, but it could happen.
No, it would definitely be crazy though. I really hope that the Cooligans don't listen to this episode because, man, we really hate on their club, and they're going to be on here next week. So
I did.
Hopefully, so hopefully they don't hate us too much. No, I'm just kidding. Those are good guys.
They
All
know
right,
the
so
truth.
yeah. All right, so here's what I see happening in this group. In last place, Nashville. It's again expansion club. I don't think that they have an identity yet. They have some good aspects. I think that they're very organized in the back from what I saw in the first 2 games. But yeah, I just don't think that this is a type of tournament that bodes well for Nashville. In 5th place, Chicago Fire. Again, new pieces. Chicago. It seems like Chicago every year they're more and more of a mess. And like you hear them moving to Soldier Field for this season, then they give you that ugly logo. It is what it is, but yeah, Chicago. I see them finishing in 5th. In 4th place, I got Orlando City, and it's crazy. A lot of people in the MLS are high on Orlando. I get it. We're playing in Orlando, but it's not their home. It's not their home field, and also there's not fans in the stands. So just from watching the Euro leagues, like no fans in the stands means that that's not really an advantage. So anything can happen on the pitch. 3rd place, I see Inter Miami finishing there. A lot of good pieces. And there's also players that have veteran leadership there, too. You think of Will Trapp, Roman Torres, Lee Nguyen. Even Rodolfo Pizarro, even though he's never played in the MLS, he's played at some high, some really big matches for both club and country. So I like Miami in 3rd. In 2nd, it's tough. I think it's going to be very close between 1st and 2nd, but I think we finish in 2nd. But I think we get a little run going on, but that's for later. And then in 1st, I do see NYCFC finishing there. The same thing happened.
Just kidding.
Listen, I don't like it either. But
hate City. We all hate City.
There's a good chance of that happening.
There's a very good chance. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, guys. Last season, when I did a preview for the year, I underestimated NYCFC, and I think I had them finishing in 6th place. And then, as we all know, they finished 1st in the Eastern Conference. So I think I kind of learned my lesson this year not to underestimate NYCFC. So I'd rather put them up higher so that way they can actually fall and maybe finish in 5th place. But no, I mean, in all honesty, like they do have good pieces. Obviously, here in Philadelphia, we hate Castellanos. He's a big baby. But, obviously, Maxi Morales, top 5 player in the league. Matrita, I was wrong about him. He's a stud as well. So they have some nice pieces. And I think, again, it'll be really – I think it's really separation between us and them. But, yeah, I think that this group will be interesting. The whole dynamic with 6 teams adds an extra element of intrigue because, there could be 4 teams coming out of this group. So it could really be interesting here. But I'm excited, guys. I'm excited. We're less than a week now from this tournament. Jeff Foley is crossing his fingers. Yes. I'm doing the whole positive thing. I'm saying that we're going to find a way to play this, but of course, if it doesn't mean if it puts the player's safety at risk, then yes, let's not do this. It's not worth it. It really is not worth it. But it should be very interesting to see this next week. But
what's guys, curious though? Sorry, John.
No, go ahead, Josh.
They're playing Premier League matches, and I was looking at some stats today. The mortality rate in the UK is by far the worst in the world when it comes to COVID. It's something like 14%. Ours is like 5%, which isn't great. We're like 4th or 5th, but 14% is awful. So, I really hope MLS is really in deep communication with some people in the Premier League to see how they're handling that, because they're dealing with less, a much smaller, much compacted, much more congested area, and people are dropping left and right, but somehow, we're not getting reports of a dozen guys on a team are infected or, so they're doing something right there. So I hope that MLS is in communication with them, because they are in pretty much a worse situation, but they're pulling it off kind of without a hitch. So I hope, the front offices in MLS are open-minded and not just, going about this on their own.
Well, yeah, I 100% agree with you. It's definitely, it's weird because in Europe, even in Italy, it seemed like it was crazy like 2 months ago, and they're playing their games now, and no one seems to have contracted the corona. So yeah, so hopefully they keep up the testing. Hopefully the bubble actually does help. But again, like the player safety is the top priority right now. So, and we will see. Of course, we will keep you up to date, guys, on any news that comes out from the MLS regarding the tournament. But as of right now, we will have one. And a reminder, guys, that PSN has got you covered. We have already YouTube videos out there preparing you for this tournament. We got Matt and Tim have articles out right now for you guys to read up. And we got podcasts set up for you as well. In the next 2 weeks, we will have podcasts previewing the 3 matches in our group stage. Reminder that on June 8th, we will have the Cooligans. The Soccer Cooligans will be on here previewing the match. We'll talk NYCFC with them. On July 11th, we will have the Nashville SC preview with Harold from Parceros Nashville. I'll have a Parcero on here, so it should be interesting to have another Parcero on here. That'll be a lot of fun. And then on July 17th for the Inter Miami match, I have my man Kevin Acosta. My man has been killing it on TikTok. If anyone's on TikTok, he has been absolutely destroying TikTok. And he's a big Miami, and it'll be a lot of fun to have him on here. Jared, I want to say thank you so much, Rob Law, man. Dude, you were great today. You're always welcome here on Duke by the River. But any last words you have to say to everyone? Anyone, also give your Twitter handle as well. But any last words you want to say to everyone out there?
Yeah. First off, thanks for having me on again. You can find me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is Nisdog, NISDOG, or our Union, HOUR Union. I usually just retweet Union stuff, talk about upcoming calls. Otherwise on my personal account, I just talk soccer stuff every now and then, just something random. But yeah, I would just encourage you to stay tuned to like the Hour Union because we're going to try and do some virtual watch parties. So we're hoping I'm working with a couple union people on that to like potentially build up a little bit. So like I don't know, it's still in the works, but definitely don't feel the need to sit at home and definitely stay home, but like but don't go to a bar and watch the game, but like don't feel like you have to sit at home by yourself and watch the game when you could watch the game virtually with a group of people. I've done it before. It's fun, even if there's a little bit of a delay sometimes. Yeah, just find ways to connect with other fans right now. It's the best way to stay sane.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Jeff and Matt. Well, Jeff, I'm so glad you were back on here. It was good seeing you. But do you guys have any last words for?
I missed hearing Jeff's accent. It's really great to hear again.
Well, you know what? During this time, it's really I think more than just the matches. I think, and you guys can speak to this too, we've reached a point, over the last couple of years, and I really, felt it this season, especially down at the Larimore after the jersey reveal, even though they were revealed before then. But, I really just miss going down there and just, seeing all the other writers and talking to them and just running into you guys and that part sucks more than anything. I'm not saying it just to be sappy. Like, I really miss going down there.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. Like, Jared and I were talking about it today. Like, it was good seeing everyone like in like a unique setting. I walking around the ground today. I did some TikToks on the ground, and I did a couple of laps around the stadium, and I looked inside and I saw the grass, and like I saw the sunlight beaming down on the river's end, and I'm like, what I would do right now to just watch a match with my guys, my girls, my guys down in Chester. But listen, things happen for a reason. We can only control what we can control. As of right now, we will have a tournament. We will still be able to watch our blue and gold. And during this time, guys, let's just try to look at the bright side. Let's keep our heads up and let's support each other because someone is probably going through it worse than you are. So let's try to support each other for sure. Thank you guys.
There will be U2 matches there. I don't know if they'll have fans or not. There will be soccer played in the Sub this year. Yes. If I can go to those games, I will 100% will.
We'll stay outside.
There. It's July 18th. They'll host Pittsburgh. And then there's also some reports leaking out that the MLS regular season could pick back up in mid to late August with each team hosting games at their stadium. With fans, I'm not sure. Yeah,
sure. I've heard limited fans.
Well, there you go.
I don't know what that'll look like yet. But I have no inside information.
We'd welcome it if you did, though.
If I had it, I probably couldn't give it.
That's true. That's how it works.
Awesome stuff, guys. Awesome stuff. All right, thank you guys for hopping on. It really means the world to me. And guys, thank you so much for listening as well. Do not forget to rate the podcast and subscribe as well. We are your people's podcast, and we would love to get your support there. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your boy, El Parcero Philly, telling you guys to dupe on. We will talk to you again very soon.